Welcome back, y'all. So in this video, as you can see, I've already been kind of busy, and I'll show you what all I've gotten done. I've done some things off video. I just kind of wanted to get a jump on this video, and there was some stuff I just wanted to knock out, get done, and get past so I didn't have to deal with no more. I'll explain what that was. I'll show you what all I've gotten done and kind of what point we're at now. I think we've made pretty good progress in the past few videos anyways, and then it's getting really close to being mobile under its own, I believe. But I'll turn you around and I'll show you what all I've gotten done. Okay, so first off, yesterday I took some time and I got the steering column moved up. So I ended up moving this up into the dash 2 inches, and then I had to move the cutout in the firewall up 1 inch. But I got all that moved up. Everything is a lot better, I believe. But yeah, I just went ahead and done that. It's kind of self-explanatory in a sense. It was kind of a guessing game though on how much I needed to take it up. Shouldn't cause an issue. I think the steering wheel would have been fine where it was at before. The problem was the column itself was too low, so you'd catch your foot on the column trying to press the brake pedal, and instead of extending the brake pedal down closer to the floor, I moved it up a little bit, 2 inches. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it made a big difference. And then as you can see, I went ahead and I cleaned up this floor. I got it ground down for the most part where it needed it. and I got a coat of paint on it. The paint's not perfect. I didn't have a lot of this, and so I kind of stretched what I had to get what's done. I'm going to get some more because I want to do the firewall on the inside, or for the most part I want to do the firewall, at least what you're going to see, as high as I can get up there. Probably should have done that already, but I hadn't gotten to it. But it's all cleaned up. I got all the wiring back in. All the grounds I went through, when I went through and put all the wiring back in on the inside, I've gotten all the grounds took care of. I just put some rev nuts or threaded inserts, drilled some holes, and that's what I've used to put my grounds in so far. I've done a couple on the firewall that way. Got this one in here. So yeah, all the grounds are took care of. All the wiring is took care of. The only section of wiring that I have left to mess with is like the ass end of the truck, the tail lights, tag lights, all that mess. That's basically the only thing I've got left to mess with wiring wise that I know of. There is a plug or two that's not important stuff right now. One of them probably won't even get used, but I do know there are a couple plugs that still cut off of the under the engine harness. One of them was AC or heater box related, and the other one may have been too. I'm not quite sure, but got the radiator mounted. I'm not quite sure. It might not be a little high. I haven't messed with it yet to see if the hood's going to hit or anything like that. I had kind of done a rough guess with the hood on the last time to see if the radiator would fit, and if it's not going to fit, it's going to be close. So my thought is if I've got to go in here and drop this radiator back down a little bit, it's not a big deal. I've only got these tacked in here for now, so if I've got to cut these back off, not an issue, and I can drop it down a little bit. One of the thoughts I've had is if I have to do all that, my best option may be to try and run an electric fan. I'm not quite sure. It just depends on how low I've got to get it for the hood. If it ends up having to go lower and the fan hits the shroud, low enough that the fan hits the shroud, that may be the option I go with. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. If I sound stuffed up and stuffy, my sinuses has been bothering me for like the last 2 or 3 days, so I've been trying to get past that. Yes, I have gotten quite a bit done. Main reason I didn't film the steering column and stuff was I just wanted to get that done and over with. I hated that I was going to have to do that, and I had felt that it was probably going to end up having to happen even before I knew it for sure. Now I haven't put the gauge cluster back in. It's sitting in there. I've got the plugs hooked up because I think we are at the I think we are at the point to where I should be able to put a battery in it and see if it turns over with the key, at least. I topped it off with fluids yesterday. Engine's topped off, transmission's topped off. I haven't put any coolant in it yet, just because I'm not going to put coolant in it until I know, one, that it's running, but until I know this is where it needs to be. And I haven't messed with the hood yet, so but I don't plan on necessarily starting it right now. I've got to get, unfortunately, when I ordered a fuel pump and stuff for this, I didn't get a sock, so I got to get a sock for the fuel pump, and I've got to order one or the other. I've got to order some fuel lines or a fuel line kit so I can fix the fuel lines that's been cut and missing. One's cut, one's missing. I don't have the line from the pump to the filter, and then the connection that's supposed to hook on the filter on the front side feeding to the engine is cut. So I've got to do some lines and get some line, and then I've got to get a sock to get the pump in. I have a new filter, and I'm not quite sure the timing's right, so if it's not, it should be close, but I'm probably going to get one of those alignment tools for the cam sensor synchronizer, and just double check and make sure, that way, I don't know, it may be fine where it is. I got it as close as I could possibly get it, so we'll see. I might be a tooth off, who knows. I think I went through yesterday also, got all the spark plugs put back on it, or spark plug wires put back on it, and all that took care of. I think I've got that right. Now I've got to build a mount for that cool pack at some point, but I'm not worried about it right this minute. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna sit you up on a tripod, and I may throw a battery in it and just see if it'll turn over, see how it sounds, if it is turning over. And then something else I've thought about doing is, now that it'll, hopefully now, if it does turn over by the key, I may double check the timing anyways. I should, it'll be a lot easier to tell if it's on compression stroke that way. So, but I may run to the store, probably not today, but I may try to run to the store or to the parts house tomorrow and see if I can get one of those cam synchronizer alignment tools or whatever. And then, yeah, but let me get you set up on a tripod and we'll see if we've made a bit of progress, and if this thing will actually do something. Okay, so I've had to pull the battery out of my daily truck, so I'm going to tighten these up just a little bit. Look. Key on? Okay. Key's not on. Don't smell nothing getting hot, not yet. The smeller also doesn't work the greatest right now. Okay. There's no belt on it, but it's not going to start, so there's no fuel going to it. But let's see if it'll crank over these. This harness runs down to the transmission, just speed sensor and reverse lights. I'll get under there and get that hooked up at some point, get it wormed down there. But let's see what happens. Got a check engine light and a brake light. Oh. Try again. No. Is my cable not tight enough? There's a little loose here. Let's try again. Maybe it was loose cable. No. So I never never used the top posts on this battery. My truck is side post. So let's clean this post. Let's clean both of them. Let's clean the cable side and battery side. This one looks alright. This one on this side's a little darker looking. Maybe it got wet or something and just, I don't know. But won't hurt to clean these cables, I'm sure. This starter should be okay. It's the one that was on the motor when it got pulled out of the truck, but one of the ears is broke off, so it's only got 2 bolts holding it in instead of 3. But the starter itself should be fine. It looks like there's oil or something got on this post at some point. I've always left the little covers on it because there's a brace, fender brace on my other truck that runs right across the top of the battery. Let's see if that done any good. Let's hook you up first. Well, I think I left the key on and I heard stuff that time. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see. Will it build any oil pressure while it's cranking? It's got oil pressure. Well, that's a good sign. Okay. Turn the key back off. Don't necessarily sound like the timing was really off. Also don't know. Sounds like, I don't know if you can hear that. Sounds like the injectors are trying to fire. Or is that lifters trying to pump up? Could be lifters trying to pump up. Okay, well, crank's over. Should we try it with starting fluid? Let's see if I've got some starting fluid. I do. So let's see. Maybe it'll pop off and run off some. I don't know. I'm gonna get the rest of the stuff that we need for fuel lines and stuff, but let's just see. Well, it does turn over, so we know that. Well, okay, so let me do a little messing around, and I'm gonna see what we're gonna work on next. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset the timing on this. I've already got the cam sensor and all that pulled out. I've got it set at top dead center, and I got the cam synchronizer alignment tool. I've got that in, and I'll show you. I don't know, maybe nobody's ever dealt with them, I don't know, but if you have or if you haven't, if you buy the kit, there's different ones in the kit. Here, let me go get them. This is the kit. You can see this one actually has the label. I've seen them before where they didn't come with a label. But what you really want to pay attention to is this engine is out of a 99, but the wiring harness is a 01. So being that I'm actually doing stuff for the 01, that's the one I would want to use. The different color, I would use black for 01 between 99 and 01. But if you step down 03 to 98, there's also a blue one. So yeah. I don't know the differences exactly. But the black one is the one that we need to use. So I've already got, this is what it will look like. I should probably set you up on the tripod. But there's that little tang in there. And this tool sits over it. Now the blue one, this indentation for the tang is in a different spot. I believe it's more centered. This one kicks it off to one side or the other, I don't remember. But I'll show you how to go about getting it in where it needs to be once it is in. But that right there's all that does is it tells it that's top dead center on number 1. That's basically all it needs, is just to sense the top dead center. Even after this is in, it goes in just like a distributor, but once it's in, if you loosen that retaining bolt and turn this, it's not going to make a difference. I believe you want it at 15 degrees, so you would do a center line roughly about where the fuel rail is, would be your center line, and then you want this 15 degrees off of that center line. And I think all that really is mainly getting the plug away from things, and then I guess that's just the rough estimate of where top dead center would be anyways. But I'm going to drop this in real quick. I'm not going to set you up on the tripod. I'm just going to drop this in real quick, and then once I get it in, I'll cut you back on and I'll show you where it should be sitting once it's dropped in. Now keep in mind, you may have to fight to get this thing fight to get it to drop in. it'll drop in and turn as it drops in, so you have to turn it further back than you want it to actually sit, so when it drops in it'll be where you want it. But I'll show you where this is supposed to be at in reference with everything once it's in there. So here, let me climb back off it. It'll just be easier. So right there is where we want it. That's roughly 15 degrees off of the center line. You'd run a center line right through the center of that cam synchronizer. But that's where we want it. Now I'll pull this back off, and that's not going anywhere. I went ahead, put the retaining screw and clamp back on it down there so it can't move. But that right there, that's where you want it, kind of in reference to everything on the engine block, head and fuel rail and whatnot. So let me pull this off, and then I've got a new cam sensor. So we'll drop this on. Now I'm still waiting for a few things for the fuel system. I've got to get the lines that go from the tank to the filter, and I've got to do some work on the line that hooks to the front side of the filter. I think I've already said something about that. But once I get all that done, I already have, as you've seen in this video, I didn't show a lot of it, but I did get the fuel pump in the tank, and I got the tank installed in the truck. I'll show you that in just a second. But that's in. I have to tighten it down. I'll go ahead while I'm in here, and I'll snap that back in. Now, just help you out a little bit. If your timing mark, if you can't see your timing mark, which if you see, they're right here on the dampener, TDC and then 0, 10. The niches here, these teeth, there's a big gap, 5th tooth to the left. If you have this dead center at the top, 5th tooth is top dead center. You just line it up with your crank sensor there, the 5th tooth with the crank sensor, and that's your top dead center alignment on your crank. But I'd already done all that previously, just getting it ready for the video. I already went ahead and put the spark plug and plug wire back on it. Let me tighten this up. So now that I've used this, I know for sure, and I will say, when I originally pulled it apart to pull that out, I tried to set this on. I got it top dead center before I pulled that out. I tried to set this on and it wouldn't drop on. It looked really close, so it may have been just a tooth off. So that's probably why earlier when I tried cranking on it and tried to get it to start, I probably had it one tooth off. I don't think it would have hurt anything. It had tried to fire. I had cranked it a little bit after I shut the video off, and it acted like it wanted to fire, but that was the only time it ever done that, and I just left it alone. I waited on to get these. Now you could probably go to your local parts store. I believe these come from AutoZone. That's just who had them in stock. But I actually believe that the set that I bought is the set that they rented out. I'm sure if you just needed this, you could go rent them, take them back, It was like 16 bucks. So wouldn't be very much. I'm just going to keep them. We don't really know how much we'll end up messing with this thing and tying into it. And I have the whole set, plus I own a couple other Ford and Mercury vehicles also, so this will be something good to stick in my box and have. So, but I've got a new fuel filter. Now, I had got one of these. I don't know if I said anything in the video or not. I had ordered one of these off Rock Auto, and unfortunately I wasn't really paying attention, and it was the wrong one. It only had one outlet on the back side here. This is the tank side, so it's got a 3/8 supply line, and then it's got 5/16 return line built into the filter. I really like this filter setup, so I just went to the local parts store also and grabbed one of these. So I've got the filter now. Pump is in, tank is in. All I've got to do, I've got to go get some stuff to do the lines. I've got to get, sorry, I got to do the lines that go from the tank to the filter, and then I need to the line that comes off the front that goes up to the fuel rails has been cut, so I've got to do some work there also. And then I'm not sure where this line is or what that line was. I don't remember. That's the supply line. This is the return line. This is the vent that goes back to the all that. And then this one also goes back to that. I've got some new clips. I think I'll have to get one for the big vent line, or I may just use a zip tie for that now. I haven't plugged it up yet. There's no fuel in the tank, and I don't want to run the pump dry, so I haven't plugged that up yet. I'm just going to wait to put the filter and all that underneath on the frame rail until I get those lines, and I'll just do all that at once. I'm hoping in the next couple of days. Today is Thursday, and I just haven't had time today, and I probably won't have time tomorrow, but I'm hoping by the end of the weekend I'll have a little bit of extra time. I can run to the parts store and try to get those lines. I've thought about just trying to get a couple fittings and use some rubber, but I don't know. I hate having to go back and redo those plastic hard lines. They're just a pain in the neck. But making progress. I'm glad that I got that cam sensor alignment tool in. I'm still stuffy, so I'm sorry. But I almost wonder if it would fire up now, or attempt to fire up now. Like I said, I don't have no fuel going to it, but I know it cranks. Do we try to start it just for S's and G's, or do we wait until we get some fuel lines and we just try to run it off the tank? What do I want to do here? I mean, we've done all this. Maybe we ought to just see one more time. Since we've set that and we know that's right, maybe we'll see if it'll fire up. It's pouring down rain outside right now, and I've put my battery back in my truck. Let me set you up on the tripod. Let me go pull a battery, and we're going to see one more time. Since I've done all that and whatnot, we're going to see if this thing will actually start up just off of little squirts of starting fluid. Okay, I got it back. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I'm nervous and anxious. See. Oh yeah. I don't know what that first backfire, maybe too much starting the fluid. Well, it runs. It's loud as hell. You gotta do exhaust soon. One more time. Oh yeah. It runs. That's exciting. Man, we're close, guys. We're close, we're close, we're close. Exhaust will be soon. I don't like starting it like that, but a little bit ain't gonna hurt. It's just ungodly loud. All right, it runs. We'll get some fuel pipe to it. We'll get it fired up and let it actually idle, hopefully, if it will. And then when I do that, I'll probably go ahead and put some coolant in it, just in case we don't have any issues and it actually will sit and run for a while. I'd actually like to do exhaust before that gets done though. And unfortunately, I think the only section of the old exhaust that I still have is the cast. So, I'll have to make a trip to the junkyard and see if I can get at least a section of downpipe. If I could get the section off of one that goes from the manifolds down, just the downpipe section from the manifolds to where it connected to the catalytic converters. I've got the catalytic converter section. We could put that on there. That would be a lot better than what we have now. I don't want the truck to be very loud. Not with this in it anyways. It's not going to sound good no matter what we do to it exhaust wise. But once it gets loud like that, they always sound like a bumblebee in a can to me. And I don't care for them sounding like that. So the truck will probably be quiet for now with this engine in it anyways. But it runs. It runs. I am at a loss. It's been a lot of work. One second. I'll just trying to get y'all up here so I can hold you. It's been a long process to get to this point. I know. But it runs. It does run. That is awesome. Awesome. Now, I haven't took the seat out and sent it to the upholstery shop yet. I don't know exactly when I'm going to do that. Just getting finances right and making sure I've got all that covered and game plan on the seat, and then I'll get that took care of. And then yeah, I don't really know. I do know we need to deal with the running boards sometime soon. I'd like to try to get those figured out and get those back on here. But being that we've widened everything, we're going to have to widen the running boards, and we're probably going to have to change up the way they mount a little bit also. So that may be a whole deal in its own right there. I'm not quite sure. But we have made a bunch of progress. So let me shut you off, and I'm going to get a little game plan together on what I want to do next. Okay guys, so I've got the fuel system took care of. I got some fuel lines ran. I got a serpentine belt put on it. And I'm going to see now if it'll actually start up with its fuel system instead of starting fluid. We know it'll start up with starting fluid, but I'll cycle the keys a few times. I hear the pump. I put about 2.5 gallons of fuel in it. Okay. What do we got? Oh wait, we got a vacuum leak. Should be a black plug laying somewhere near it. Little rubber plug. The truck probably ate it.
You stick it in your pocket.
No, I didn't stick it in my pocket. That's where I was looking to see if it fell out of there. I set it up there in that channel. Guess I'm gonna see if I got enough of them. Let's see here. Let me go look. If it went down through there, it fell on something, and that was it. I did just realize that. Oh, I'll break this real quick. Oh, I got it in the leg. Just won't make a difference, but I'll get it plugged in there.
Why don't you do this up?
I don't know. I set it up there in that channel, and I guess the truck vibrated and knocked it down or something. I don't know where it went. I bet I do know where it went. Let's see right here. Get it. No. Oh well, let's see if this will fit. see if that was all of them. I forgot about those. I need to take care of them. Let's put a cooling system in it.
Put phone system in it.
So, you know what? I'm gonna turn it all on time lapse. We're gonna get a radiator and a cooling system put in it and get some cooling in it, and see if we got any leaks and see if we can let it run for a little while. Okay, so what I did, I went ahead and filled it up, but I filled it up with water for time being. I don't want to lose all the coolant that I have, just in case it has a leak. So I'm going to run water in it just to make sure we don't have no leaks or anything like that. Once I know there's no leaks, I'll drain the water out and put antifreeze in it. I've about got it topped off with water now. I'm going to start it up and let it cycle and finish topping it off. Need to, so I'm gonna put this back on. And now I don't want to start. What the hell? Oh. Gotta get all this plugged back up. Okay. So what's your deal? Old Faithful over here. That's about midway. Not overheating yet. About to operate now. You know, that's about where I bet if I hooked up this light, it might have that light.
part of our bid. What's that number one spark plug? Bid. The R2. Right. Yeah. That's what the bid right there. I bet I broke that spark plug the other day when we had it, right? I looked at it and didn't see that. I'm gonna buy it. And then we're going to take it to the end of the driveway, see if it'll move around a little bit.
So, change plans. We're going to see if it'll make it to the gas station and put some gas in it.
Pause that.
I'm going to put some power steering fluid in it. Give me just a second.
Do you have any power steering fluid?
I got ATF. It's the same thing. I meant to get a quart the other day when I went to O'Reilly's and I forgot. Okay, so it's the next morning. I decided last night to just call it a day and spend some time with my kids and hung out and whatnot. But it's the next morning, and I think what I'm going to do is I haven't messed with it. I haven't started it or anything since we got back from taking it to the store yesterday. So I'm going to see how it'll do. First start for the day after sitting and stuff. And this may be kind of where I call it a video. I feel very well accomplished for this video, being that we got it running and driving for the first time. But let's see what I did. Set the hood on it, just trying to make sure it's not going to hit the radiator or anything like that. Operating temperature. Just make sure it didn't have any leaks. There's nothing on the ground underneath it this morning. As far as I know, it's not hitting the hood. The radiator's not hitting the hood. I did take the little rubber bushings that the radiator sits on. I took those out and did drop the radiator down a little bit. I had the radiator just a tad too high and the radiator cap was hitting the hood. So those bushings were quite thick. So I'll just do some type of different bushing setup for the radiator to sit on. And I've got to drop the mounts that I put on to bolt the radiator in at the top. I've got to drop those down just a little bit. But everything clears. The braces that's on the inside of the hood, though, I'm going to have to take those out. One of them's hitting the air breather hose. and the one on the driver's side is really close to one of the battery terminals. So I'm either going to take those out and do a different brace, or take them out and move them to a different spot. I don't know how it really sounds on camera, but with this thing having open headers, open exhaust manifolds, it really does not sound that bad. I may look at, when we do an exhaust, I do that more than I would care to admit. When we do an exhaust, I may do some type of a cutout right there and see if I can get it to sound kind of like this occasionally when I would want it to. It does still have the one little water leak. I said no leaks. The line's coming back for the heater core. I had to use those factory lines because they have smaller lines that tee off and go to the intake. I'll either get a new one or just redo that whole setup for now. We don't have no heat box or anything. So I've just got that heater core, the heater lines looped, and that one, there's a plastic tee there, press fit tee, that has got a little small leak on it. That's the only leak I've found so far. Trying to debate on what I'm going to do as far as mounting the hood and doing a hinge setup on that. I'd really like to do like a front tilt hood, but I don't want it to be one of the ones where it just sticks way up in the air. I'd want it to be one that kind of droops over the front of the truck. And for me to do that, I'm not going to buy a kit. I'd build it myself, and I need to get some metal to do that. So that's coming soon, figuring out how I'm going to do the hood, how I'm going to hinge it and latch it. I've considered I may do some type of little, like a Jeep style latch, one on each side. I don't know yet. If you guys seen that, but it just spun both tires quite well. Okay, and that was the second gear grab too. That V6 may be a little more than I was expecting it would be for that little truck. And I wonder, did the edges come with a lock diff? Or maybe a limited slip? I don't know, but I know both sides spun. Okay, I'm gonna shut you off. I'm gonna turn a fan on. I'm gonna let the shop air out, and then yeah, we'll I don't know. Is this where we call it a video? Maybe. I don't know. I feel very accomplished. Very accomplished. I was not expecting it to light a tire like that. Everything's good. I'm gonna let the shop air out. Okay, shop's aired out. I'm gonna call it a video here. I don't really know how to feel right now that it runs and drives. It's been a long time coming, roughly 2.5 years or so I've been working on it, and I haven't had the time to put into it as much as I would like to. I'd have liked to have it to this point a lot sooner. Now we're not done, nowhere near it. There's a lot left to be done, but it is running and driving. It moves under its own power. I've got to get quite a bit left to do as far as making sure it's good to take out on, you know, somewhat decent of a road trip. But now we're pretty much at the point to where we can start buttoning up a few things. We can start getting an idea for interior. Like I said, I've got somewhat of a plan for the seat. I just put that on there yesterday because that seat was nasty and the foam just kept coming off and sticking. So, I don't know. To me, it's kind of ironic, I guess. That's kind of a birthday present to myself in a sense. Today's my birthday, so yesterday we got it running and driving, and it's kind of, yeah, I'm really excited right now. So, haven't had any issues. Didn't have any issues taking it to the store. It did try to die a couple times. It died once pulling out of the driveway, and that was from me. I was just trying to get the power steering pump to take fluid, and then it tried to die pulling out of the store, but I caught it in time, and that may just be it trying to relearn itself. I don't know when the truck, the frame and wiring and all that out of. I believe when we got it, it had been roughly like 2 years, 2.5 years or so, I believe the feller said, that it had ran. So it's been, I guess, 4 to 5 years since any of that's been used. The engine's been sitting a year and a half, which I know we went through yet, but I do know the number one spark plug is arcing off the side of the head, and one of the times I took it out, setting timing, I heard a crack, and I looked it over. I didn't see nothing, but I think it may be cracked, so it's losing spark there. You can hear the miss, and I think that's one of the misses. I'm going to get some spark plugs and plug wires, and we'll do a little tune-up on it. I want to get a couple oil filters. I'm going to do some oil changes quite frequently for the first, I don't know, couple thousand miles probably, just because there's a good chance there's some small minute pieces of metal left in there, or just grime and grit from us cleaning it and it's sitting in the shop, and maybe stuff that I didn't get all the way out of it. But yeah, it runs and it drives quite well too, I have to say. It really does quite well. I know it's a V6. Let's be honest, everybody would probably really like to see a V8, and myself included in that, but funds weren't available at the time. I mean, I know everybody kind of knows it's kind of rough these days, but that aside, my plan in the future, sorry, I'm trying to get the tripod legs out of my way so I can carry you around for a minute, and we'll finish this out. I'm not going to ramble too much, but my plan in the future for the truck is to do a completely different engine setup. This is just a time being types build for now. I'm going to do the body and all that. Not necessarily the best of my abilities, but I'm going to do it budget friendly and decent, I guess you could say. I do have, I don't know the plan yet. I don't know that it'll get used, but I've got a Coyote right here in the corner that come out of the Mustang that I done an engine swap that I ended up getting the SRT for. I have the engine for it. Don't know that I will use it. Don't know that I'll keep it. He may decide he wants it back. It's still kind of up in the air. We're not really sure yet what's going on with it, but I do have that. As far as I'm aware, I gotta clean up my Mountain Dew boxes there. As far as I'm aware, it would probably need to go to a machine shop, get checked out really good. It would need a new crank, new set of bearings, and I'm not sure if anything else. Possibility it would need more. Now that's just what it would need engine-wise that I'm aware of. It would need a whole wiring harness, computer, and all that. I've looked into it. I've found kits. A kit with a computer, wiring harness, throttle pedal. I don't remember what all else it came with, but it was basically a engine swap wiring kit for this engine. It was like $1,200, $1,500, something like that. So I mean, it wouldn't be that terrible, I don't think, to drop it in there. Now I don't have a transmission and headers and accessory drive set up, all the pulley setups and all that. I don't have none of that, so there would still be quite a bit of money that would have to be dumped on that for it to be usable. But it's there. I may use it, I may not, I don't know. So that is kind of in the back of my mind. May drop a Coyote in this, which has from day one kind of been what I'd like to. I've never owned a Coyote. I've been around them, I've drove them a little bit. I know they have their issues, and that's my thing. If I'd done one, I would want it to be gone through, and any issue that hopefully in the future would arise, we could take care of beforehand. That way we wouldn't have to worry about it. So I don't know. We'll see how everything turns out. But I'm gonna walk you around the truck. I'll show you. Get you off. Get my finger out of the way. I figure I'll show you, just in case anyone's. So I haven't got the gauge cluster mounted back in here, but it's sitting off in here and plugged up. I think I may have to readdress the way it mounts, being that I had to move the dash up, and I didn't do that when I done all this. I'll probably pull the column back out and mess with this, see if all that's gonna work. If not, I'll redo everything. But Yes, I know it has a check engine light, but it's got probably a couple 100,000 miles on it. I don't remember. The gauge cluster that's in here is not the gauge cluster that was on this truck. Gauge cluster that's in this one is actually the one that was in my buddy's white one. This one had one that had a factory tack, and his did not, obviously. And we took it out and swapped it into his when we done the engine swap. I'm going to get a different tack instead of putting an aftermarket tack or whatnot. I said a different tack. I'm going to get a different gauge cluster that has a tack instead of putting an aftermarket tack. And I'll use that. That way we'll have a tachometer. And I was going to say also, all the gauges work. Fuel gauge works. I put $20 in it yesterday at the gas tank, half a tank. It was on E when we got to the tank. When we got to the store, I'd only put like 2.5 gallons in it, and a lot of that probably got ran through just mucking around with it here, idling, making sure it wasn't going to overheat and whatnot. So, the only one I'm curious about is the alternator or the battery. The reason being is it's, to me, it's kind of low. My buddy's runs about midways. This one is maybe quarter of the way or so on the gauge. I know they're all going to be a little bit different. Now, this is a brand new alternator. I did put a multimeter on it yesterday, but I don't know. I think my multimeter may have an issue right now because I tried it the last time before yesterday that I tried to use it. I didn't have good luck with it either. But temp gauge works. I was worrying about it because there was a sensor that goes into one of the freeze plugs that when we pulled the engine and all that, I couldn't get that plug to unplug, so I just cut it so it's not hooked up. I didn't know if it was one of the temp sensors or not. It has like 2 on the intake. I would think it was one of those, but all of it works. So gauges done. We don't have to worry about that. Speedometer, it works. Lights. I have not done any lights yet. I haven't bought any lights. I've done a little bit of looking on what I want to get. So we'll start getting some lights in, and lights will be took care of soon. Obviously, we can't drive it too much until that's done. But, yeah. I'm going to call this a video, guys. Feel very accomplished. I'm thrilled to have it running and driving. Ecstatic, I guess you could say. But I'm going to call this video, do some editing and hang out and whatnot, being that it's my birthday and I'm not going to be too tied up doing stuff for a video today. I'll get picked back up and probably start tomorrow or the next day. Today's Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be back on video. I want to get this one edited and uploaded and all that. So, but I just want to say I really appreciate everybody that's been watching. I know it's been a little bit since I've gotten a video out. It's just schedule, and I've actually waited on quite a few parts here lately, and it was small stuff too. But I'm really pushing to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So just bear with me. Hopefully we can get some different content out soon. I have the plan. Now that this is running and driving, the Belvedere will be coming in. But I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.